Hello everybody and welcome to my Titan Souls Cruel Truth Percent tutorial. Now the first thing we're going to go through here is the tutorial as usual, and we're going to go to Sledge Heart first, as usual. This should not surprise you. Now there's a couple ways you can fight this boss. First way you can fight him is, the normal way that you do it in just about every other route. You fight him in the room. Normal Sledge Heart fight. The second way you can fight him, which is the way I like to fight him in Cruel, is you can fight him in the hallway. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stand behind the second black line here and line yourself up with Sledge Heart. You're going to take the shot, and you can get some pretty bad patterns here as well. This fight still is mostly RNG, but if you get lucky, you might be able to pull it off like so. Alternatively, you might get the perfect lineup, or he might never have a single piece of him enter the hallway at all. This fight is still going to kill most of your runs, and it's still the biggest random element in the whole thing. Once you kill Sledge Heart, I like to go into Brain Freeze, as his strat is a little bit more difficult than I-Cubes, because before we were rolling away from him, and since we're on Cruel, we can't really do that. So what you're going to want to do is when you walk into the room, you'll find these two diamonds on the ground here. You're going to want to stand in the middle of them and do a fully charged shot upward. Then you're going to walk to the left and find these two diamonds here. What you're going to do is you're going to use your right thumbstick to look up closer towards the brain, and you can use the trigger or the square button or the triangle button to pull the arrow closer so it looks like it's inside of the brain, like so. Then you're going to want to stand in between these two squares, pull the arrow to aggro the brain, walk right, and then pull the arrow again. It'll go through the fire, and it'll hit him. So, walk right, pull the arrow, and it hits. From here, you're going to stand on the bottom wall, as you're completely invulnerable on the bottom wall, and wait for him to land. Now, from here, we're going to do the same thing we do in every other run. We're going to run up, we're going to shoot Goliath's door open, and then we're going to head down and we're going to fight I-Cube. Now, the I-Cube strat, if you've done hard mode I-Cube, it's exactly the same. You know exactly what to predict from this. So, for I-Cube, you're going to want to do a 2/3 charged shot when you get into the arena straight into him. Shortly after the first click, you're going to start pulling your arrow, and you should hit him. Pull. Now, Goliath, we actually do the same thing we do on every other run. That is, we fight him outside of the arena. Now, it's a little bit scarier doing this because you can't just roll to safety beyond the door. You actually have to walk. But in order to make it a little bit easier, the way I like to do it is I line myself up so that the head of my character's shadow is at about the bottom half of this little square here. Then I do the fully charged shot and walk backwards immediately. Pull the arrow so it's in the middle of the bottom parts of the two squares in the center of the arena, and then just walk around. Now, the same as with hard mode, for Goliath, you're going to want to wait, and if you set this up the same way that I do, you'll want to pull the moment the fist hits the ground, but you have to wait for the extra pound. So, on normal, when you cross the line, he'd swap fists. On hard mode, he does an extra pound. Alright, so slam the ground. Here he'd switch, but he does an extra pound. So, what we do is we just wait for the second pound. When the second pound hits the ground, you pull. Alright? Bam. Pull. Easy. Pull the arrow and walk up to skip this cutscene, and you're done with the tutorial.